Hi folks, this is your Channel 14 news team with an urgent announcement. It has been brought to our attention that local high school students are struggling in their biology classes with the topic of evolution. But fortunately, those students are in luck due to me and my helpful team members. Yes, those kids are bound to get an A.
This is Sarah right here to help all those young kids out there with microevolution. Microevolution is the change in the gene pool of a population. There are 5 causes of microevolution. Genetic drift is the first cause, which is a change due to random chance. There's the bottleneck effect, which is the environment suddenly changes and reduces the population size. The cause of microevolution is gene flow, which is a change due to migration. The next cause is mutation, which is a random change in organism's DNA/gene pool, and it introduces a new allele or gene. Then there's non-random mating, and mates are not randomly chosen. The last is natural selection. Nature decides the fate of the populations by favoring one allele over another. An example of genetic drift, the bottleneck effect, which is a sudden change in environment that drastically reduces the size of a population.
Earthquake!
I'm all alone.
Leah Oldham here with an explanation on Darwinism. Darwinism is the coined term named after that brilliant scientist Charles Darwin. And if you haven't heard of this guy,
Darwin here with my pretty Frenchy bird.
he is the one credited with the discovery of natural selection. Although in today's modern world, humans are the cause of artificial selection, good old natural selection is charging through. Natural selection is the process in which organisms that are the most fit are able to outcompete their counterparts due to their favorable traits and survive to reproduce. The organisms that do reproduce pass these favorable traits onto their offspring, and over time, obviously, the species will evolve and change because they get more favorable traits. And over time, that means it's evolution, baby. Evolution, baby. And then there are 4 conditions that natural selection relies on, and one is overproduction. So your mom and dad are going to produce way more of you than is going to survive. And then there's genetic variation. So there's going to be variation in the population. Then there's the struggle to survive, and these organisms, like I said earlier, suitable traits, they got them, they survive, you don't, you die, sorry. And then there's differential reproduction, so the suitable variations are obviously passed down if you survive.
Hi, this is Leah Oldham with your weather report, and here I have some examples of Darwinism, and you get to learn about it, unlike those kids in the 1950s in the Scopes trial, those monkeys,
Another condition natural selection relies on: variation in the population, short versus tall.
There are 5 reproductive barriers that prevent reproduction from occurring. When populations can't get together, it is habitat isolation. When populations have different mating behaviors, it is behavior isolation. When populations have different breeding times or flower at different times, it is temporal isolation. When populations have different anatomical structures, it is considered mechanical isolation. Finally, gametic isolation occurs when gametes fail to fuse and therefore don't recognize each other. Sympatric speciation occurs when individuals of the same species occupy a distinct niche and eventually become specifically adapted for that role. Behavioral isolation, when 2 populations have different mating behaviors. Wow, that escalated quickly. Here are more examples of reproductive barriers of speciation. Here's habitat isolation. These 2 populations can't get together, therefore they cannot mate due to the barrier.
Elise Dietz here with an explanation on some evidence of evolution. We know evolution has occurred based on the following 6 things, and we are here to help those students at Walled Lake Northern. Alright, so the first thing that helps with the theory of evolution is the fossil records. Fossil records show the transition from one species to another and their origin of new physical features. These are homologous structures, analogous structures, and vestigial structures. The third thing that helps to prove the theory of evolution is comparative biochemistry. Comparative biochemistry is similar biochemistry between different organisms. The more similar equals the more related. So on the cladograms that you guys have to do in class, the more related ones are closer together with the branches. Okay, the 4th thing that helps with the theory of evolution is the comparative embryology. Comparative embryology can tell certain organisms evolved from a common ancestor with similar stages of embryonic development. An example of the similar stages of embryonic development would be like The fish and humans both start off developing, and they both have gill slits, but later on in development, embryos differentiate, so the humans no longer have gill slits and they become something else. The fifth thing that proves the theory of evolution is molecular biology, is when certain organisms share large amounts of similar DNA. For example, me and Tyler have no similar DNA, so we are not similar organisms. And the sixth thing is biogeography. An example of biogeography is Pangea. Pangea, that all continents were together at one point and that the separation caused animals to separate onto different continents and to evolve and differentiate in different ways.
Police teacher with some breaking news. We have found the rock that shows the link between humans and primates. Look at it, guys. I mean, just look at this evolutionary fossil record.